Okay, well, let's jump into this. Now, I I'm on a Mac, so I had to go through some different like audio configurations in order to stream sound off of my Mac onto this. So hopefully it works, but I'm gonna let it run real quick and let me know if you guys can hear it at all, and then I'll just reset it, and then we'll just go from there. Fuck yeah! It means I set it up correctly. Nice job, pat on the back. Alrighty, let's do this thing.
I left my city for San Francisco. Took a free ride off a billionaire's jet. LA, I'm from nowhere, who am I to love you? LA, I've got nothing, who am I to love you when I'm feeling this way and I've got nothing to offer?
Mm.
LA, not quite the city that never sleeps, not quite the city that wakes, but the city that dreams for sure. If by dreams you mean in nightmares. LA, I'm a dreamer, but I'm from nowhere. Who am I to dream? LA, I'm upset. I have complaints. Listen to me. They say I came for money and I didn't even have love, and it's unfair. LA, I sold my life rights for a big check and I'm upset. And now I can't sleep at night and I don't know why. Plus I love sax, so why did I do that when I know it won't last? LA, I picked San Francisco because the man who doesn't love me lives there. LA, I'm pathetic, but so are you. Can I come home now?
This this poem is already somewhat depressing 1 minute into it. Yeah, I'll turn it up a little bit for you guys. Sorry about that. Um, you know, it seems like artists like it's like Lana Del Rey, and my guy The Weeknd. LA has always gotten, talked about in such like a negative way. And I've talked about it before because I'm from LA, so I can definitely relate to this poem a little bit right now. Sometimes you just want to escape and get away, but this is kind of more. It felt like she was stuck in a somewhat in a prison of LA, and wanted to get out and went to San Francisco with this guy, but has now found herself in another prison, and it's just like she's trying to decide between the two prisons of which one's better, and apparently LA's better.
Orange in the distance. We both love that, and I love that we have that in common. Also, neither one of us can go back to New York, for you are unmoving. As for me, it won't be my city again until I'm dead. Fuck the New York Post. LA, who am I to need you when I've needed so much, asked for so much, and what I've been given I'm not sure yet. I may never know that either until I'm dead. For now, though, what I do know is although I don't deserve you, not you at your best in your splendor with towering eucalyptus trees that sway in my dominion, not you at your worst, totally on fire, unlivable, unbreathable, I need you. You see, I have no mother.
That was heavy right off the bat like that. I do really like how even though this is like a poetry audiobook, I love how she's kept this she's able to keep the same aesthetic that she has with her music by the background music she has while she's reading her poetry. Um, Hold up, I'm reading uh, Henry's description real quick. When she says, "They say I came from money and I didn't even love that, and it's unfair," she's referring to the speculation and criticism from the media in her early career concerning her background. Yeah, I feel like this one was almost like a love letter to LA. Um, I feel like she wanted to escape LA. She wasn't happy in LA, and had the opportunity she thought would have been a better life, and you know went to San Francisco. Turns out that San Francisco wasn't as great as she thought it was going to be. Um, and now she wants to go back to LA. And the way it's written, and she's kind of personified LA a little bit, because it sounds like she's writing like a regretful letter to somebody. You know, like you leave your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever for someone else, and then you realize that like, oh, like I think my ex boyfriend was better. And then you write him a letter or like that text and send it to him, and then it just says "seen" at the bottom, and then you stand at the San Francisco Bridge and no, I'm just kidding. You don't do that. But yeah, I feel like even though there are hints, and maybe small events that have happened in her life and in her career, I really do feel like she's writing like a love letter to her ex, asking if she can come home, as if LA is her home, um, and be reaccepted by LA.
Two blue steel trains run through the tunnels of your cool blue steel eyes. Vernon, rock quarry, the vastness of which has nothing on your beautiful mind. Dylan, I hear Dylan when I look at you. I can see it in invisible ink like a tattoo. The yin to my yang, the toughness to my unending softness. A striking example of masculinity, firm in your verticality, sure in your confrontation. No words needed to sponge up the dark nights, no explanation for the globes in my eyes, shoulder to shoulder in the factory light, letting me be who I would have been if everything had turned out all right. 3 alternative endings now course through my blood on ice. But I thrive because I say I do, and because it's what I write. But honestly, if you weren't here with me, I don't know what things would look like. That's why no matter what world I'm in, I'm accessible by only one satellite. Vernon, Dylan, and you and your madness, with 2 blue steel trains running through the tunnels of your cool blue steel eyes.
That way that one was recorded, I felt like I was watching some sort of like 1930s, 1940s noir movie. Like it just had that, like, those classic black and white like detective movies. Um but at the same time I had a little bit of trouble understanding what was being said in that one. I don't know if it was just the way it was recorded, or my headphones are fucked up. I don't know. Um but kind of what I got from it was that this man that she's talking about, um, is almost sort of an escape, for her from life in general. Um, I think what kind of how I kind of came up with that was the lines of the 2 steel blue trains, um, and his steel blue eyes. I feel like that's sort of her way of saying that's how she escapes. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But I want to hear some of your guys' thoughts on it as well. What do you guys think about this one?
I saw you in the mirror. You were wearing your hair differently, carrying the air differently. You say you wear your hair long, parted in the middle, long in solidarity, just like all us women. In Long Beach, aimless. Your fingers wiping oil on the paper with precision, with decision, like an artist never seen yet, with a vision, with a reason, stared with venom at the ceiling, not the grass, but straight ahead, just at the skyline, with precision, laser vision. Time was stopping, moving through you. You dictated by what moved you, only moving, unraveled. Now I see you clear. Standing stoic, blue in denim. Eyes not blue, but clear like heaven. You don't want to be forgotten. You just want to disappear.
You realize a lot of the poems, at least his first four, have dealt with, you know, escapism and trying to get away from something. I think that's one of the common themes so far in this book. It's just the wanting to escape somehow, some way. Um, I think she was talking to a woman in this poem, and I feel like the woman that she's talking to is her, almost as if she's talking to herself in the third person. Um, Almost like a letter to herself or advice to herself. It's very intimate poem, very intimate poem. But yeah, especially that last line about wanting to disappear. It's just everything has just dealt with reality and the faces of reality and escapism from reality, and it's interesting.
Get out of my blood, salamander. I can't seem to blow off enough steam to get you out of my head. Soul cycle you to death. Run you out of my blood to San Pedro. And yet everywhere I go, it seems there you are, and there I am. I don't want to sell my stories anymore. Stop pushing me. Some stories aren't meant to be sold. Some words aren't meant to be told. I want to leave them underneath the nightstand to be forgotten or remembered should my thoughts come upon them in the middle of the night after a long beach day, or by you some afternoon, to thumb through with your worn, warm afterwork our window, a thing perfect and ready to become a part of the texture of the fabric of something more ethereal, like Mount Olympus, where Zeus and Athena and the rest of the immortals play.
I swear, some of these sound like they were just she was sitting in a car and was just recording the poem on her voice note and just submitted it that way. It was like we'll just put it on the voice note and throw some music behind it, and it's good to go. What I like about this one is the way that she talked about you know, her life is her poetry. Um, and I know she's made that statement before, especially to the criticism that she received um, a while ago. You know, I did while I was doing the Lana deep dive. I obviously did research on what people were talking about her at that time. You know, when the album came out and everything like that, just to kind of like see what my reaction to the album was, and then going back and looking at what others' perceptions of the album was. And I think she had mentioned in the interview before that, like, you know, her poetry, her life is her art, and uh you can't deny that. You know, like, you can sit there and criticize, but how are you going to sit there and criticize someone's life? People do that all the time. People criticize people's lives all the time, and it's stupid. Don't criticize people for their life. It's their life. You know, just let them do what they want to do. Let them live their life. That's a I I think that's one way. That's one good way to look at it. But I also think it may not just be a man, but it may just be society, or in general. Um, and society is personified as one person that she's talking to. Maybe even critics. Constantly trying to have to prove yourself, especially either as a musician, as any kind of artist, in general, especially for female artists. You know what I mean? It's such a different world for female artists, and women have to try to constantly prove themselves, which is complete and total bullshit. It shouldn't be like that at all. But I feel that might be a little bit of a staple in this poem.
Cruiser. I took a flying lesson on my 33rd birthday instead of calling you, or parking on the block where our old place used to be. Genesee, Genesee, Genesee. Pathetic, I know, but sometimes I still like to park on that street and have lunch in the car just to feel close to you. I was once in love with my life here, in that studio apartment with you. Little yellow flowers on the tops of trees as our only view. The instructor shook his head and without looking at me said, "You don't trust yourself." I was horrified, feeling as though I had somehow been found out, like he knew me. How weak I was. Of course, he was only talking about my ability as a pilot in the sky, but I knew it was meant for me to hear those words. For me, they held a deeper meaning. I didn't trust myself. Not just 2,500 feet above the coast of Malibu, but with anything. And I didn't trust you. Which way the wind was blowing. I already knew I was going to get it wrong. The wind is coming from everywhere. I feel it all over, I told him. No, he said. The wind is coming from the left, the port side. I sat waiting for him to tell me, "You don't trust yourself." But he didn't, so I said it for him. I don't trust myself. He laughed, gentler than the pilot, but still not realizing that my failure in the exercise was hitting me at a much deeper level. 6 trips to the moon for my poetry to arise. I'm not a captain. I'm not a pilot. I write. I write.
That was a beautiful one. I really, really like that one. I really loved how somewhat regretful she sounded in the beginning of that. First off, let's just talk about her storytelling in this poem. Was amazing. Like, for a poem to be able to invoke a visual story as much as it did, at least for me, is great. It's awesome. Um, but like I said, I really loved how we felt this somewhat regret. She's looking on um, this relationship that has ended, and she apparently saw a future with this relationship. Um, but she, kind of fucked it up. and then she goes on to kind of, wanting to experience these new things, but she gets told that she doesn't trust herself. What she realizes is kind of, the true nature of herself. She doesn't know how to trust herself. And I think what we get from this is learning is that you know the experiences that we go through in life, um, is what allows us to be able to trust ourselves more. And I think that's what she got from the boat captain, was that advice, which is why he made her go out, to the Ralphs and feel the wind. She goes to the Ralphs and Palisades though. I'm gonna go to the Ralph and Palisades and just wait out and be like, hey, well, what's up? I'll drive to the Palisades after this live stream. But you know what I mean? It's about learning how to trust yourself and the way of navigating the world. And she realizes that, you know, her way of navigating the world is through her writing. She's good at it. She trusts herself in her writing. Um, and that's how she can you know navigate life is through the writing.
Silent woodworker from midnight till later, my lover, my laughter, my armor, my maker. The way that I feel with you is something like aching. Inside of my stomach, the cosmos are baking. A universe hung like a mobile. The alignments of these planets unique. In me, the earth moves around the sun. No land, all sea, water world, sun chaser, Tropic of Cancer, southern equator. I'm the crying crustacean sunbathing on paper moon. Let's rewrite the beginning of this primordial ooze, shall we, my love? Am I being brazen for saying this year makes me feel like we could have wrote it better than him? But who am I? Just a girl in love, dreaming on paper.
Is it just me, or was I getting some this kind of like childhood like wonder in this poem throughout it? But then at the very end, it got a tinge of adulthood on there. You know, the darker the better, the later the better. You know, it's kind of like a nice little look at between childhood and adulthood.
Perfect petals punctuate the fabric's yellow blue. Silver platters with strawberries strewn across the room. And Zimmerman with sandals on, one summer dress to choose. 3 girls, eyes rolled, loud laughter, dust specks lit by afternoon. My life is sweet like lemonade now, there's no bitter fruit. Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, no thought of you. There's one dress to choose.
Some sort of freedom there, you know, being able to get over that one thing that felt like you were, you know, being held as a prisoner, or felt made you feel trapped in life. Being able to get over that and moving on is such a relief. You know, even like she said, you know, her life was like lemonade. It was no longer bitter. Um, her life was perfect now, whether, you know, it was some sort of problem she was dealing with, or even a relationship, which I'm sure it was a relationship that she was referencing to. But just the idea of freedom and being free in life to just, you know, not have to worry about that shit again, dealing with escapism, um, and exploration and travel, all of that freedom, you know.
Happy. You thought I was rich, and I am, but not how you think. I live in a Tudor house under the freeway in Mar Vista by the beach. When you call, I take my phone to the picnic table that I bought from the Rose Bowl, and I listen to the rushing cars above. Every saved receipt, every movie theater ticket, just to remind me of all the things I've loved, then lost, then loved again, unconditionally. Happy. You joke that I'm rich, and I am, but not how you think. I live in a Tudor house under the freeway off of Rose Avenue, 12 blocks from the beach. And when you call, I put your sweater on and put you on speaker and chat for hours underneath the trees. And just a dream. We were just happy.
Yeah, she's definitely recording these on her phone. At the very end, you can see her just like hitting the end button. Um, Damn, I'm gonna lose my train of thought if I don't if I don't say something. Um, okay, so pull it back. I feel she's talking. This poem feels really similar to that little poetry speech she had in the Ride music video. You know, Ride dealt with exploration and freedom and all of that. And I feel like this relates really well to it. You know, she's saying people are saying that I'm rich and I am, but not in the way you think, you know. Um she's like she's more rich in her life experiences, with the boyfriend box, everything like that. She has her happiness in her little house that's 15 blocks away from the beach. So it's you know, it's not your typical rich of being a lot of money, which I'm sure she has a shit ton of money, obviously, but you know, it's like she doesn't really care about that. She more cares about what she has in her life, the things that make her happy in life, and because of that, that's what is her definition of richness. Looks like we had a bit of a disconnection there. I'm gonna continue. My bad. My internet is shit sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's just the area I'm in or my apartment or what. Fuck you, AT&T, and your bullshit internet, man. Seriously. I wish Google Fiber was out here so I could actually have some decent internet. Okay, let's get back to it.
And I was lucky in that way, not like my husband who was born and raised in hell. I always had something gentle to give. All of me, in fact. It's one of the beautiful things about me. It's one of the beautiful things about nature. But lately I've been thinking that I wish someone had told me when I was younger more about the inhabitants that thrive off of paradise. That should they take too much, there would be nothing left to give. Not everyone's nature is golden and green, and you can't fight what's in your nature. I got to thinking about it as we were fighting the fires in Agora. But I'm tired of fighting you. Paradise is very fragile and it's only getting worse. And every time I think of that, I think about the curse bestowed upon Eve that
I think this one's talking about, you know, as we get or as we know, you know, she has a strong love for American culture. And I feel like, oh my God. Anyways, like I was saying, I think it's her looking on the American culture and seeing where it's at now and her thoughts and her views on it. And seeing let's be honest, American culture is kind of going like this right now a little bit. Um, but you know, it's interesting how she's able to do it in such a way that it doesn't sound completely terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like she's able to explain in a way where it's like, oh yeah, yeah, that sounds like shit, but at the same time, like, sounds nice.
people love my story. People love my story.
That sounded like when you get super high and then your paranoia kicks in and you're like, are they talking about me? I think these people are talking about me. Are they talking about are they talking about me? Whew, do I have a story? Another time, another day. But uh how I forgot to speak English. Um it's definitely the background was definitely this paranoia feeling, especially that kind of crescendo rising sound in the background, as well as this very like this tension, this kind of dread to it. But I feel that it really added to the poem. Um, this last thought is almost sort of like what now? You know, she's trying to figure out what's going to happen now. If she should move, she should go somewhere. Um, but really, I think she's going to decide to just be what she's, you know, what she's doing. What keep the same thing going. You know, she doesn't need change as much as change seems like that's what needs to happen to her. She doesn't need to. She just needs to focus on, you know, herself, no matter where it be. Um, and I don't know exactly what the little voice is. I know it's something like share my stories or something like that. So I feel like maybe that's her paranoia telling her like you need to keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. Um, sort of thought. But let me know what do you guys think? That was the last one I think. So um, let me know your thoughts. I wanna hear them. But yeah, my overall thoughts of the of the book, or at least as just all the poetry in general, I feel like it's almost like a little journal that we're getting an insight to. You know, we're looking into the regrets about her past, the insecurities about her future, but not only the insecurities about her future, but the insecurities about her as a person, as an artist herself. You know, an artist is that's one of the I think that's one of the shitty things about being an artist, whether you're a poet, a filmmaker, a musician, anything like that. There's always this weird insecurity that comes with the art that you make because it's something personal that you make and you're projecting it out there on the world for it to be judged. You know, and that's a scary fucking thing to do. To put your art out there, something that you love, you took the time to make, put it out there to be received, and then just people shitting on it or you know whatever. Um, and you know, I know Lana has been writing for a long time, especially in her lyrics, like we hear that. But you know, I think this poetry book is this the first poetry book that she's put out, or has she put one out before? I don't know, but you know, even dealing with those regrets, the insecurity about the future, insecurity as an artist, the overall arc or the overall theme of this is, or one of the main staples of the theme, I think, is just it trying escapism, trying to figure out a way to escape all of these different things that are happening in her life at that moment. And I think at the very end, what she realizes is just writing poetry is the main way she can escape this stuff. Um, Also, while you guys are here, I would just like to know for myself, not related to the poetry book, um, what kind of live stream content would you guys enjoy seeing? I already know I'm going to be doing like tier rankings and listings, um, and some live reactions as well. Now that I know my audio works, I could do some live reactions. But what else? What other kind of things would you like to see? Would you like, you know, let me know. I want to start try to do live streams once or twice a week. Twice would be cool if I can pull it off, but you know, I drop a lot of videos during the week, so it's a lot of editing to do. And I'll keep updates on when the next live chat session is. But thank you guys for watching. Um, Thank you for your patience and me figuring out all this shit. It's gonna be a bit of a journey trying to figure this thing out. Hopefully, I can get my internet stable for future live streams so they don't keep fucking disconnecting. It's the one thing I hate. One thing I hate is when my internet disconnects, especially when I'm in the middle of watching Netflix and every like 5 minutes, the fucking loading thing is like 25%. Oh my gosh, I just want to throw my dinner plate out the window every time that happens. But yes, I'll let everyone know when the next live stream is. Like I said, we're gonna be doing these at least once or twice a week. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys again for your support. I hope you enjoyed Poetry Book as much as I did. And I will catch you guys next time.
Hey, thanks for watching Off the Deep End. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, and share, and feel free to explore our channel and check out some of our other videos. Remember, new videos drop every week. Take care.